Hey everyone, my name is Marcus. I'm a coach, a medium, and a channeler. And today's video is for anyone who would like to start meditating and start developing their spirituality. And the key aspect of that, in my humble opinion, is to be able to find stillness in order for us to hear our inner voice, which is a lot softer than our monkey mind and social media and the news. So it takes a bit of practice in order for that to become the most dominant voice of your life. If that sounds of interest, I'm happy to see you. And let's get started. Many things like yoga, walking meditation, journaling, all of these things are super valid and I do them as well. But I haven't found anything that replaces sitting meditation in silence. It is, for me, the number one tool and technique I use to develop my spiritual and psychic abilities, to hear guidance, personal guidance from me and from my guides. And I can't think of anything more powerful than sitting meditation, for our personal growth and our spiritual path. And a prerequisite of that is, of course, to find stillness. Because like I said in the intro, we have all of these things around us. We have screens, we have traffic, we have the supermarket, we have news, social media. It's very loud for our sensory inputs, but we've become so used to it and accustomed to it that we don't think twice about it. I think if a person that lived a couple hundred years ago would visit us now, I think they would be quite overwhelmed. And the more we tune into this, we kind of get a sense that it is quite overwhelming at times. And so this is a little bit of an antidote to the, hectic energies of, modern society. And it will serve as the antidote and the technique to really tune into a different energy, which is your energy, the voice within. And it is, in a sense, how to get started with meditation as well. And just to compare it with praying, I think of praying as speaking to the universe, and I think of meditation as listening to the universe, giving and receiving. And meditation is listening for me, not only the external universe, but our internal universe as well. The way I started meditation was very simple. I had my mentor asked me, Marcus, do you meditate? And I was like, maybe, I don't know. I didn't know anything about meditation. And she told me, well, if you want to try, make sure you do it your way. She's a medium and she could clearly sense that this was part of my path and it's something that I've developed in many past lives. So it was fairly straightforward for me to move into my own meditative practice. And this is, of course, a recommendation I'm going to give to you as well. If you're interested in meditation, do it your way, because there are many different ways to meditate. And what works best for you, only you know that. And the way I started was simply with curiosity of saying, I wonder what will happen if I sit down quiet with my eyes closed for 20 minutes. I wonder what will happen. And I had no preconceived idea of that I'm supposed to quiet my mind, how I was supposed to sit, what I was supposed to achieve. I had no idea. I was curious, what will happen? And what did happen was, first I noticed my monkey brain. And then after a while, that kind of, after 10 minutes, maybe that calmed down a little bit. And then I was able to kind of calm myself down a bit. I kept going for weeks or months, I'm not quite sure. And then the more I meditated, the deeper I would find myself internally, and I'd be able to find that space quicker. And in that space, there would be messages almost and guidance that would arrive from me. And I would be able to hear, oh, this feels like it's coming from my heart. This feels like it's coming from my stomach. Okay, that feels like a thought. And I would, learn where things are coming from internally. And then fast forward months, years, I would then start feeling, okay, well, now what I'm getting feels like it's coming from outside of me. And that was a long process of figuring out, well, one, can I trust it? Two, who is it? And three, why are you here? And, that's how I started to develop my relationship with my spirit guides, guardian angels, ascended masters, angels, whatever you resonate with. And that's a beautiful journey. But it all starts with finding stillness, because without that, we can't hear it. I can't hear it. And so how do we know if we need stillness? If we're easily irritated, frustrated, annoyed, impatient, tired, it might be our body's way of saying, look, bro, there's too much going on right now. So those might be indications that finding stillness might be a good idea. There might be emotional turmoil as well. If there's difficult situations at work, maybe there's relationship issues, like stillness will help us move through those moments with more grace. And what are the benefits of this stillness? How can it help us move past all of these things? Well, it kind of helps our physical body to relax and to release some of the tension that we are sometimes, without even knowing, just accumulating throughout our day. Even going to the supermarket, like sometimes I feel like I just need a sage after the supermarket. I'm getting better at that, which is nice, but I remember at a time it was really difficult for me to just be around people and crowded places. And I still feel sensitive to that, but I'm getting better at managing that because I am taking the time to kind of release that tension and release other people's energies that might, affect me if I'm in a big crowd, for example. So it helps us with our stress levels, our physical body. It helps us digest information and personal growth. If we're working super hard and we're taking steps and steps and steps, like sometimes our body just need to digest it and just let it sink, let it land, and just rest. And a meditative practice like that, finding stillness, is very beneficial from my experience with that. And of course, hearing our inner voice, like that is the main way to achieve that. If we are creative, if we play, I'm looking at my piano here, if you are a musician, if you are an artist, to find that spark, maybe you have writer's block, maybe there's just too much going on, maybe you just need to let all of that fall off and find that stillness, because then the inspiration and the creativity can arise. So what then could be in the way of stillness? So let's say we want to achieve stillness and we know why it's helping us, but we're not achieving it. Maybe there's some things in the way. So phone and devices and the screens, I feel, do not support stillness. The exception might be if you're looking at a singing bowl concert or something, maybe that's invoking stillness. But I think you know what I'm understanding here. Like doom scrolling, it's like the killer of stillness. It really activates our nervous system and, I don't know. Yeah, we all know, right? So taking a pause from that even that could have just profound experience. And we're to some degree, myself included, addicted to our devices, for better and for worse. With social media, I feel it's mostly for the worse. So just taking a break from that and deleting some of the apps on my phone has really helped me to stay away from that when I need stillness. Other things that could be in the way of stillness could be your schedule, your work, certain people. That's for you to decide. So if we then want to invoke stillness, some things to actively plan could be things like yoga, sport, especially after sport. I find stillness, and especially after martial arts. I've done judo my whole life and do a little bit of Brazilian jiu-jitsu as well. And just after an intense sparring session, there's just this, it's unbelievable sometimes how still the mind gets from fighting, basically. It's sparring, it's all consenting, we're all bros. But it's unbelievable how that can affect, because your body is so clear and clean. It's a beautiful experience. And then it takes one Instagram post and it's like, oh, and then it's all gone. No, not quite, but almost. Other things that invoke stillness, walk in nature, meditation, of course, journaling. That could be a way of getting all of the craziness in your head down to either paper or to computer, however you journal. I found that to be super awesome. And the idea of morning pages, or whenever you want to do it, of just writing out whatever is in your mind, to kind of just like bleh, get it out of your system, from your brain to the paper, and then you throw the paper away. And it's like, oh, okay. Reading could be another way to kind of like, at the same time, do something productive, but in a more skillful way. Music, of course, can have a profound effect. And, I listen to a lot of that kind of singing bowl stuff. And so what do we do then once we found stillness? Well, we can just enjoy it. That's the beauty of it. It is very enjoyable, and we feel the sacredness, the special flavor of reality that we're accessing in this state. And it's accessible now. I encourage you to pause this video and just, how does stillness feel? Are you in a calm environment right now? How does stillness feel for you? To me, it's very special. So when you find stillness, you can just enjoy it. You can meditate, and then that's a way to start developing your spirituality. You could journal about really inspiring things. You could do what's it called? When you're kind of like channeling message, automatic writing is what I'm looking for, the word. And yeah, there's a lot of things you can do with that stillness. And I have a feeling that you will get very inspired, and you'll find that spark that can inform you what to do with that stillness. So, to summarize, if this is something you want to develop and practice, find a quiet spot where you're not disturbed, because if you're one who can like sit at a train station and find that stillness, that is very impressive. And we see monks do that sometimes, and I find it easier. I live in a very small area and it's very green, so this is very conducive of stillness. I sometimes turn off all the electronics, and I have a notepad ready, because usually when I find stillness and I sit and meditate, usually there are things coming up that are very valuable, so I want to make sure I write those down. And sometimes if it's hard for me to find stillness, having a notepad and just writing down, oh, I need to do laundry, I need to get this from the supermarket, because our monkey mind wants to make sure that we remembers that. So if we don't write it down, they're gonna be like, well, make sure you remember that. So I find that helps sometimes as well. Get comfortable, have comfortable clothes, close your eyes and focus a bit, and then focus on your breath and listen. Those are the very small steps that I can take if I'm struggling to find stillness. So today's coaching question might be, I've experienced that some people that even they do yoga, they're very like spiritually interested and they want to develop all these things, but they have this resistance to sitting meditation. And a lot of the people I speak to that has this kind of like resistance, it's usually because they're a bit afraid of what's coming up. There may be people that know they've had very traumatic experiences, they have sadness, grief, or whatever that they're not ready to face. And if that's you, first, what are you afraid might come up? You can sit and journal about that. That's a very safe way for it to come bit by bit. But if you're wanting to kind of like pace it in meditation, you can ask for one thing to come up, because then that will give whatever energy is wanting to come up, it will satisfy it for a day, and it will also help you move forward with this thing at a pace that is very manageable. So you could, in meditation, ask if there's things you feel you're not ready to face. You say, okay, well, just give me one thing and I'll write that down and I'll think about it tomorrow, And then bit by bit, you can kind of work through that and it's not gonna like blow up and be overwhelming. So what are you afraid might come up? And how can you work with that? And what is the biggest block for you in your life that is standing in the way of stillness? So I'm hoping that is helpful if you're trying to find stillness and start a meditative practice. If you have any comments, you can comment below. Or if you're curious about learning more, you can visit my website and even book a coaching session or a session where I step in as a medium. And yeah, good luck with finding that stillness in 2026 on planet Earth. It's here all around us. We just gotta, be ready for it and kind of seek it out. So with that, I'm gonna say thank you and peace.